Hey everyone, I'm thrilled to introduce the exciting new features in GlitchStep version 1.1.0. Let's dive right in and see what's new. Up first, we have a new innovative way to select notes. Single tapping on a knob will display a note selection grid, like this. You can then tap on a note you'd like to select, and it'll change the note for that selected knob. This alternate method of note selection makes it super intuitive. Notice that the root notes are bolded and that the note that you currently have selected is highlighted. Also, at the top of the grid, it shows the step number so you know which step you tapped. If you decide you don't want to select a note, you can simply just tap on any of the knobs to dismiss the grid. The next new feature I would like to talk about is step locking. The new lock icon next to rate at the top activates step locking mode. When step lock is active, tapping on a step's knob will lock that step from randomization, shuffle, shift, and transpose. If step locking mode is active, you can tap on a locked step to unlock it. You can still manually adjust the knob's value of a locked step. But if you select randomize, those values will stay locked to what they are when the other values that are not locked will randomize, assuming you have the correct steps, or notes, gates, velocity, or probability values selected on the right here. As you can see, the steps that are blue and have locks next to them are not changing when I hit randomize. This also works with shuffle, shift, and transpose. Also, copying and pasting a pattern that has step locks in place copies the lock state to the new pattern. And initializing a pattern will clear any lock states. We've added a new ping-pong mode to sequence direction. So if you select PNG or ping from the sequence direction menu, the playhead will start traveling back and forth like a ping-pong game. Long press actions have been added to the edit panel buttons. Buttons with a horizontal line indicator above them, like these, have a long press action. For example, on the randomization button, its long press changes it into mutate pattern, which means that every time the pattern cycles and starts again, it will mutate the pattern or randomize it. Here, let me set notes and steps back to randomize on, and I'll show you what that sounds like. You can use this in combination with the new locking mode to decide which notes stay in, which notes get randomized. Let's move on to the next long press action. Let me just take randomize back to regular randomization and show you and talk about the long press actions that are on shift. If you long press on shift left, it turns into transpose up. And if you long press on shift right, it turns on to transpose down. Now, since I have notes selected, if I press up, it will transpose the notes in line with my scale up and down. If I select, for example, gate and switch over to gates, it will transpose those gates up and down by 1 each time I press them. Now, if I long press again, it shifts into a transpose jump mode, which means that if I press it, it will transpose up and down by 10 or notes by octave. Oh, I'd have to put notes on. There we go. Speaking of notes, the last long press action I want to talk about in this edit panel is the one on notes. If we long press on notes, it turns into a single note, meaning it's being reduced by the randomization range. So for example, if I put this up to 60 to 100, that means my notes when I randomize will be in the upper register between 60 and 100% of what my octave range is set to every time I randomize. Or if I were to bring it down and I wanted really lower notes like this, it would randomize in that range. If you long press again, it treats them like it normally does and randomizes the entire range of notes. And the last long press action I wanted to speak about is mutate slice patterns, which is on the randomize slice pattern button. If you long press that, it highlights like this. And if we switch to a pattern, a slice pattern that we want to mutate, and you hit play at the start, as you can see, it's mutating each of these slice patterns as it goes. It's a great way to get nice improvisation on the slice patterns. Also, a new feature I'd like to talk about is that we've added some new responsive window types. So if we make this window really, really small, like this is similar to what you'd see in a phone view, but then if you size it extra small, like this, it turns into just a glitch pad. So this XY pad will let you glitch like you normally would, but you're not seeing the rest of the app. What this lets you do is if you've already set up sequences and patterns the way you want them, and you only want to glitch, you can then have all this extra other space to have other apps running or multiples of these, because you can add multiple versions of GlitchStep and size that down. And actually, let me just change the theme here, like this. And then you could have side-by-side glitch pads, or as many as you wanted, or as many as you could fit on your screen. And that's all the new features in GlitchStep version 1.1.0. I hope you're as excited about these updates as I am. Have fun experimenting with these new tools and creating amazing music. See you in the next video.